I mean, I was not at the meeting, but he had a lot of followers. So it's a good thing. Yeah.
So your introducing him was for what? Just to say, this is our guy for 2022? Or
you know, Jeff, you don't understand politics. It's color.
Well, he had a very colorful shirt.
Totally. I mean, I know he had a colorful shirt. It's color. So CMB Prezo comes to Wiper. We announce it. You put it on the news, and you are discussing us. We are discussing Wiper.
I think it was a goof on their part. Mutula has talked at Jubilee. Let me talk him a bit.
What?
The first tweet that came out from Wiper was that CMB Prezo is vying for Kibra.
Yes.
Then they have to come and again clarify and say, no, he's not vying now. He's vying in 2022.
Right.
And you're unveiling him now before a by-election. So does it mean that you'll have no nominations in 2022 for Kibra?
No.
I mean, there'll be no. Will all the other candidates be received like that? I think that one was mishandled. Someone, you advised Mkubwa.
Yeah.
Someone misadvised him on that.
I think it's the way. It's where the way the communication was.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the way they do it in Juba.
No, it's not. I can assure it's not. And I'm sure there's no pun in what you're saying. The point is, I think the information came out in the wrong way, but it was just mishandled. But CMB brought all the color and bling
and the pomp
to Wiper.
And you know how Wiper for like color.
Yeah. And you know, that's why I'm seated on next to all these orange and yellow. All the colors. Yes, it's just color.
Okay.
Color and pomp.
So you were just stealing the thunder from the others. Is that what you're doing?
We did. We stole the thunder by in terms of captions. The one of Mariga came a very far second in terms of news items.
All right, gentlemen, I promise we're going to switch gears and let's do that. Punguza Mizigo, a Kuru Courts initiative. It's they're going around the country. They gained a major victory in Uasin Gishu last week, but today they hit a brick wall. In fact, him and Governor Ann Mumbi, not Waiguru anymore, Governor Ann Mumbi and him were going at each other on social media.
Wow.
Your thoughts about Punguza Mizigo, Senator?
I've already expressed my thoughts about Punguza Mizigo. It amazes me. In fact, the other day, this is where Dr. Kuru Aukot made a very big mistake, because he goes to the assembly to speak to the assembly about his bill, and therefore at the point where he finishes, he expects them now to discuss and debate and vote, which is wrong, because ideally the public should be involved. At what point is the public involved? Was it in Gishu County? And forgive me for saying this, because I think they were just doing it because they want to spite BBI. That's what I think. But they have a right to do whatever they feel like. The point is, when did you see them conducting public participation about the 10 or 11 questions that Dr. Kuru Aukot has proposed? Because we must involve the public. I said the same about BBI when they were going around the country, because except Nairobi, we had very little about the collection of although they went round, we had very little about what they were doing, for example, in Moyale, what they did in Wote, and I was there. But the public, you, Jeff Koinange, seated here, do not know what was said in Tana River. You do not know what was said in very other places. But they collected those views. The minimum of doing a popular initiative is to collect the views of Kenyans. But the idea that you want to reduce the number of seats, and this gentleman speaks very well about representation, the idea of, and then to color it and say, and what I call a poison chalice, tell MCAs we are going to give you a county development bill, a word fund, and then you tell Senate we are going to give you 35% increase, we are going to make Senate the upper house. I mean, what we are supposed to fall all over ourselves for it? No. We must conduct minimal things. The fact that I am seeing Dr. Kuru Aukot himself in an assembly is wrong. That picture is wrong. The assembly is for debate once the views of every Kenyan has been inputted. That bill, in fact, I've never seen the bill, personally.
Yeah, but you guys must have been shocked that it even passed. You must have been shocked. Nobody was expecting this to ever pass.
No, I'm not shocked.
You know, first of all, I don't think... I raised an issue about the signatures. The same way I raised about Okwa Kenya. Jeff, today you might find your signature is there. Yeah. Did you sign?
No.
Because as I said, every political party has a copy of the voters register.
Right.
Now what prevents me from putting 20 young men in a room to just sign against names. Because the IEBC does not have your signatures. So the IEBC has no way to confirm that this signature is Jeff's. The only thing they can say is Jeff is a registered voter. So they've already given you the answer sheet, the marking scheme,
yes,
and then they tell you bring it back to us. In fact, I said for verification of signatures, the first thing that must be done is that the entire list of those who've signed or names be put at the polling stations or in the newspaper, be published. So what we see, I see whether my name is there, yet I didn't sign. Because IBC has no repository of signatures.
Right.
Number two, as you've said, and as Mutula said clearly, it has now become that it is Punguza versus BBI.
Yeah.
And in this country, sometimes we play around with such important things as constitutional amendment.
Yes.
A constitutional amendment must be about the people.
Yes.
Not about political intrigues. It's not about if you support so-and-so, the president and Raila Odinga, your BBI. And if you support the deputy president, you're Punguza. That is nonsense. That is the emptiness of our politics. Now, my friend Dr. Ekuru Okot, who I have much regard for, went about it the wrong way. Because, number one, he should have involved more people.
Yeah.
Because, you see, once you've published that bill, it cannot be amended.
No.
Right.
And we'd have exchanged ideas. And let me give you an example of a fundamental flaw in that Punguza Mizigo bill, because I've read it. A fundamental flaw is this notion that every county can have 2 members of parliament. It's a fundamental flaw for 2 reasons. Number one, the principles of our electoral system are one that talk about universal suffrage. In fact, international law forms part of Kenya's laws.
Yes.
Article 21 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights says that the will of the people shall be the basis of the formation of government, and this will shall be expressed in regular and genuine elections based on universal and equal suffrage. What universal suffrage means is this, Jeff. The reason you have an assembly, a national assembly, is that all Kenyans cannot sit together to make decisions.
Right.
So we are put in as equal a number of constituencies, as equal a number of people, to choose one person, and there must be representativeness to go speak on our behalf. So each constituency must have as near equal a number of people as the other. That's why we have Article 89 of the Constitution. Meaning Nairobi, with its close to 6 million people, has to have more constituencies. That's why we have 17. And Lamu has 2 constituencies. Because the weight of the voter in Lamu must weigh the same as a voter in Nairobi. Before, we had what we called gerrymandering. Gerrymandering was where the former president, Moi, gave constituencies to his places so that he has more MPs at the expense of the opposition. And you'd find a constituency like Embakasi had 1 MP with 995,000 people, yet Lamu East had a guy with 10,000 people. So because of that, you cannot say that today all Nairobians or all the people of Kiambu or of Makueni will be represented by 2 people, an equal number as those in Isiolo or Mandera or any other county, because you've gone against that Universal Declaration of Human Rights where we have signed the principles of equality of the vote. So that is just one fundamental flaw, and there are many others. The feeling that the wage bill is burdening Kenyans is true. Kenyans feel burdened by the wage bill. Of course, it has been overhyped that it is the wage bill of political leaders. If you remove all political leaders from the budget, all the entire parliament, all governors, etc., you won't reduce our budget by 10%.
You won't.
You won't even get there. It's more of the public sector, wage bill. But still, some of these good ideas that he has can be transformed into whether it is BBI or whatever the process, so that we can do away with nominated positions that are too many. We can have them. We used to have 12. Have a few of them. We can do away,
constituencies?
We can do away with CASs.
What about cabinet assistant?
We can reduce some of those positions. So I think there's still room.
What about constituencies? Are there too many? 290?
No. And on this one, just allow me to, because when the Katiba was being done in 2010, I was a consultant on that to Parliament.
Did the math.
I was 24 in 2009.
Good Lord.
And there were 2 people. ODM was represented by Professor Aduol, the Vice Chancellor of Kenya Poly became what? Technical University. And I was there on behalf of PNU then. Jeff, we had 210 constituencies.
Right.
And there was this thing that I was saying called gerrymandering, such that some constituencies actually had too few people. They were political constituencies. So we had said that we need to review and equalize it so that it's based on population And then you have other factors, like if you look at Article 89, you can vary. There's a population quota, which came from the Constitution of Ghana. The population quota is the population of the whole country divided by the number of constituencies, which tells you the average constituency should look how. Then you can vary by 30% in rural areas and by 40% in urban, or 40 in sparsely populated. We said if we do it on the 210, you know, we're going to lose 30 constituencies. 30 of the constituencies that existed would go. Now, politically, no one could accept that. If you ask Kenyans today, do you want us to reduce constituencies? They will say, yes, reduce. Can we reduce yours?
No. They will not agree.
No one will agree. So we had to increase the number of constituencies to a number that you can now make them as equal as possible without disenfranchising those who deserved more. So 290 can't change. 290 cannot change.
Right.
But why do we have, all those? I mean, we have now 47 women reps. We have 349 MPs.
Yeah, 349.
Yet we have 290 constituencies.
Still too
much.
Jeff, the reality, and we must tell Kenyans the truth. The reality about the hype on Punguza Mzigo is that the bulk of the wage bill is on elected leaders. The reality is that it's only 2% of the wage bill. The executive is actually consuming more than parliament. It's at 12%. That's the math. But I bothered to read the reports, and the limitation of our constituency started in 1962, before we even got into independence. And there are two reports on the constituencies, on the regions, then 9 of them. Right. Something that I've seen in BBI, and what was then the 41 senators who are representing regions. So you had constituencies, the 8 larger regions, and 41 senators who are also representing various regions, which mutated into the 47 counties. If there's something that we have never managed to deal with, is the question of constituencies. Why? Because population keeps on increasing. We have a constituency, and 27 constituencies were protected in the Legale report, which includes one in Makueni called Kilome. Now, if you go to Kilome constituency today and tell them, merge with Machakos town, or merge with Kaiti, which is next to them, or merge with Mboni, they will not agree. The residents are not going to agree. So we must find yet another formula of how we are going to deal with the question of representation without necessarily making it look like that the burden is on Kenyans. The constituencies now, as we speak, and Senator Sakaja and I were in the discussion on division of revenue. Constituencies are now at 142 million CDF, now as we speak.
142 per constituency?
Per constituency.
From 100?
From 100. Now, when you tell Kenyans that they are no longer going to receive bursaries, they're no longer going to build schools, unless we find a solution as to who is going to build schools, who is going to give bursaries. Because there's something that Kenyans have gotten used to, from university, secondary, whatever it is. What are you going to tell them? That you're no longer going to receive bursaries?
You know, CDF has done a lot of good things. But the fundamental problem we made, and this any constitutional lawyer will tell you, is that we mixed two things. We mixed representation of the people with allocation of resources.
Exactly.
The unit of representation does not necessarily need to be the same unit of representation, I mean of allocation of resources. You know, and that's why we muddy it. So people will see an MP and they see resources, they see CDF, they see bursaries, they see what, yet that should not be the
so case. We should have cured this problem because this was an initiative. An initiative CDF is supposed to be devolution. Counties are supposed to also be devolution. But the constitutional people, the people who made the constitution, and Sakaja, these guys could not discern how to deal with the fact that you have a larger unit called a county, and you have smaller units in that county called constituencies. It's the same problem we have at National Assembly, that the people who are in our constituencies see counties as aliens. They look at us senators as aliens. They were pointing at us and saying, "You are where are we going to get money from?" But that money is going to the same constituency which we belong.
Okay, one word answer, gentlemen. Will there be a referendum in 2020? Will there be a referendum?
With one word. What do you mean? Yes or no?
Yes or no?
You cannot tell because, Jeff, just like many others, a referendum is only on the aspects of the constitution where you need to go back to Kenyans.
Okay.
There are constitutional amendments that do not require a referendum.
Yeah. Senator?
There will be, yes.
Okay. BBI, are they going to come up with something?
They have no choice. With Mizigo everywhere.
Yes.
And Gunias. With Gunias and Mizigo.
Okay. Gentlemen, let's take a break and come back. The question everyone is asking, is Governor Mike Mbuvi Sonko under siege?
What do you mean everyone is asking?
Who is
it's
asking?
just you asking.
You're putting words in everyone's mouth. Are you asking that question?
Yeah. Is he under siege or is it under sieke?
Yes.
When we come back.
Okay. Keep tweeting at Koinange Jeff, at Citizen TV Kenya, the hashtag. It's JKLive, you guys, right? I've never seen you guys so tongue-tied.
No, it's a leading question.
You're asking the question and you can hear the sound of the break. And you start answering it. Wait.